A viewer sent me a picture of this bike right here. It was sitting in his neighborhood in the backyard of a hoarder's house. It's a 1979 Yamaha DT250. We dug it out of the hoarder's backyard, bench pressed it into the back of the pickup truck, went through, realized the front was all locked up, the back was all locked up. The only thing that wasn't all locked up was the motor. So we cleaned the carburetor, checked some things out, and got this bike to fire up. The second best part is this bike has a title. How exciting is that, Dan? Let's get this thing up onto the table and start fixing all the stuff that needs a fixing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of emails lately, which is awesome, about you guys going out and finding old bikes and starting a wrench and have fun and get things running. Or you had a bike sitting in the garage for a while and you decided to pull it out and get it going. And that is awesome. I love hearing that stuff. So I figured, you know, great logical step would be, you know, you guys pull a bike out of somebody's backyard or basement. In the last video, we showed you kind of how to just get it running really quick and see what you got. Now we're gonna go through and get it so you can actually use it. And we're gonna do it the most cost-effective, efficient way we can. What was I doing, Dan? Just taking the rear wheel off.
Yes.
Whenever you're pounding on a like an axle or something like this, don't just take the nut off and start hitting on it. Leave the nut on, put it about flush, give it a whack or two and just work its way out. If you don't keep that nut on there and you give that thing a whack, because if you're not using a softer hammer, gonna mess up the threads. So don't do that. This wheel is now spinning, but we haven't had it off to actually check on everything. So let's pull it. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Definitely.
Oh.
Definitely didn't take that off.
Woo! What is that?
That's brake stuff.
That used to be the brakes.
Used to be the brakes.
Jeez.
We need to get this all cleaned up. Because that doesn't turn. Would you believe that? Well, I guess what we're gonna do is we're gonna start soaking this, and hopefully we can get this thing to free up. I'm gonna let that soak a bit. These are trash. Let's knock this other part of the brake shoe out of there. Rusty brakes is kind of becoming a theme. That goes in the trash can as well. We're gonna knock this off because we're replacing the sprocket because they're only 20 bucks. My guess is those are 13s because it's an old Yamaha. My guess is these are 14s. Yup. Old sprocket. So have a tire coming, have a tube coming, have a sprocket coming, I have brake shoes coming. What else do we need right in here? Not much. Chain, have a new chain coming.
This spring's really rusty. Is that gonna be a problem?
Nope, we're gonna act like we didn't see that.
Oh, okay, never mind.
We're gonna clean this thing up here a little bit. Let's tackle this because if you remember in the last video, the clutch doesn't work. The clutch is all stuck fast. So here's what we need to do. We need to pull the kicker. We need to pull our covers. We need to drain the oil. We're gonna need, we're gonna need a couple tools. Okay, so we're gonna pop this kicker off first. Before I pop that all the way off, I'm gonna take a center punch and I'm gonna find my groove. Whack it.
Groovy.
And groove it. Let's see if we can work this off. I couldn't do that earlier because the gap was too tight. I couldn't get the screwdriver in, so I waited till the gap got bigger. I could get that screwdriver in. Okay, we're gonna set this aside so that we can wash it and, you know, do all the stuff we gotta do there. Let's drain the oil and get that gobbledygook out. Now I need, oh.
Sounded good.
I'm gonna pop this front cover off. Our oil pump is in underneath here. I guess we did give it a good pressure washing, but that water's been in there for a while. Okay, well, there's always surprises, right?
Always.
Always. Brake is so rusty, it just holds itself there. It's kind of nice. I think what I'm gonna do is try to pop some of this stuff off with those things connected there yet. Yeah, seems about right. I always start on my top left bolt and I lay them out in order so I know where to start and which bolt goes where. Now, a lot of people strip Allen wrenches because they don't get the Allen bit seated all the way into the head of the fastener. So if you're just if you're not all the way in and bottomed out, a lot better of a chance you're gonna strip it. You know, so that's always a good tip for you. Again, I start at my top left so that when I lay them out, I know which order they go in. Now I'm thinking I can pull this pretty much all off together. So pop this line off, and then this line here, pop that off. Okay, so this is the oil supply line. This is coming from the oil tank over there on that side. I'll pop that off, and there's some coming out, so it's not a bad sign. And actually, if I can let that drip right into the oil pan, I'm okay with that. Let's tap that thing loose. Sweet. Well, there was oil in there. I think that shaft is just keyed in there. I'm just being very careful because the last thing I want to do is mess up the case or this cover. Let's see if I can get this thing started here. I gotta be gently. Man, these all sound like fun ideas until they start sucking. Okay, well now the oil pump's at least out of our way. Can I get the tack drive off? Is that holding us up?
I don't know, Craig. Is that holding us up?
Oh, oh, Dan. I think I just got it.
You got something?
Okay. All right, I got movement.
Wow.
Jeez. I get stuck on a dowel pin. Okay. There.
Oh boy.
That was easy.
Simple.
Simple.
Look how clean that is in there. What are you talking about?
Actually, not too bad.
Yeah. See? It's nice and...
I don't know why that's a brick. That is a straight up brick. Okay, that's the source of the problem right there. It's not supposed to be a brick.
Oh, it's not supposed to be stuck together.
It's not supposed to be a
Craig, I
brick.
dare you to drop on the ground right now. Oh. Okay. All right.
Actually worked pretty good. So I was doing a little crossing, a little parts crossing, and it's interesting because these steels, look at that design. That's pretty wild, huh?
It looks not right.
Right, I know, but it is. So anyway, you can get these steels. They're still available through Yamaha because it's actually, believe it or not, the same steel plate that the Banshees run in their clutches. The fibers are different, however, so I got to order I'm just replacing all this because once they're like that, there's no sense you try to save them unless you just can't get more. But I can get a set of aftermarket steels for a Banshee pretty easy, cheap. So I need to do a tube and a tire and those brakes. Parts are coming. That'll all get put onto there. Yeah, okay. Let me wash my hands. Okay. So I stopped and grabbed tires last night at my buddy's shop. These are the Shinko 244s, I believe. These are like a 50-50 tire. I'm gonna throw this rear one on. Boom. Look at this. This is a mess. Look at that. So I gotta get that cleaned up. I'm gonna throw that tire on. In the meantime, I'm gonna set Dan loose on the bike. Just take a gander. Let's get a before and an after. And I'll explain what we're gonna attempt here. See, I don't know what we'll be able to do with this, but we have some rust. The kickstand's awful. The spring, our foot pegs are rust. We got rust in here. We have some, rust up in here. Our Kickstarter was nothing but rust or brake. We have some corrosion here on our cylinder and our head. We're gonna touch that up a bit. A little rust here, and we need to address the plastics, but we're gonna work our way to the front. We're gonna start getting this stuff cleaned up and prepped so we can hit it with, we got a couple different things. Dan's gonna get it cleaned up. I'm gonna change the tire, yeah. And then we're gonna put that stuff on. All right, let's start getting this stuff cleaned up. I can taste brake dust and rust.
You can taste it.
You can taste it.
Delicious.
It's crunchy in my teeth.
That's really bad. It's the bad kind of crunch.
So all I'm doing here is using like a light medium prep pad. And I'm going over these wheels with some soapy water. And look how easy this is to make a wheel look better. I'm using soapy water is pretty much just for lubrication. I guess it is doing some cleaning, but that's cleaning up nicely. This isn't a lot of work. It just takes a little bit of time. If you walked into the shop on a Saturday morning with a cup of coffee in your hand and started this, now your coffee is cool enough to drink. It doesn't take long. Looks a lot better. And the only other thing I want to do is hit the insides here so that everything is clean. And you can do this with a little bit rougher of a grit. This is kind of like salting your recipe. You just clean it until you're done. Just add salt to taste. You guys decide when you're done. I'm going to decide I'm about done with this. Nailed it. Yeah. The wheel's drying. I'm just gonna let that dry for a bit because I want to come back over here and give some attention to this part of the bike. Dan was kind enough to go over and start cleaning things for us, but I want to play around a little bit. Like I said, I got some of this rust stuff. I'm gonna kind of see what works. All right, I'm gonna start with this Permatex. Permatex has been around forever. We all use it, love it, taste it, smell it. Oh, it's sticky. You can brush this on, spray it on. I'm just gonna kind of brush it on up here. Look guys, I'm just experimenting. I never messed with this stuff. Whoops. This stuff before. So I'm just gonna cover some of these areas and we're gonna see what it does. And then if we're gonna come back through with a little spray paint. And what this should do is help that, or should prevent the rust from coming through that spray paint. It should neutralize it, encapsulize it, destroyalize it. Kind of just let that do its thing there. I've got a couple other spots through this frame I'd like to try. Just gonna slather some of this on the battery box. Stop any rust and corrosion going on in there. Watch, I'll read the instructions and it'll be like, do not get it on plastic. Let's see what's going on here. Let's put some in here. I pulled the other foot peg. It's cooking in evaporust along with the kicker. So I kind of wanted to just try something different, or like comparison. Should I read the instructions?
Typically how these things should work.
Guess what the first one is?
What's the first one?
Use gloves to prevent staining of hands. Remove dirt and oil from surface. Sand with coarse 50 grit sandpaper or scrape with wire brush. Whoops, shake well. Okay, did that. Small amount into a separate disposable. Whoops. Do not return unused material to bottle or dip applicator into original bottle. Whoops. Brush your sponge on a thin layer using long, thin strokes. Contain rust treatment to rusted area being treated as product will stain surrounding paint. Protect surface from moisture for 24 hours before applying paint. Note, this is not a primer.
That was a lot.
It's a lot of stuff I kind of messed up, but it's turning stuff black.
Well, hey.
Okay, well.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad. We're gonna come back to that. This one here is a primer. Easily converts rust to a protected paintable surface.
I like that one. It says easy.
That would be a good candidate, that spring. That spring's a good candidate to go soak in the evaporust, I do believe.
Yeah.
Let's check on this. This has been soaking for a little while now. It's actually coming out pretty good. There's like some black paint left in underneath there. Yeah, it's doing its thing. We're gonna keep letting that chooch for a bit. Okay, I'm a little concerned that I got this on heavy in spots, so I'm just gonna kind of brush it around to some other spots. So I learned it's always good to read the instructions before you start. I don't know, we're just gonna let that do stuff for a bit. How do you like that, Dan?
That sounds great.
Awesome.
I mean, it looks like it's working already.
Yeah, it looks like it's doing things.
Yeah, that looks better.
It's looking better than it once did. So we're gonna pop this off quick.
Is this kickstand resting in the ocean?
It looks like it. Too close to the hot tub. Do it the old-fashioned way. We need to clean that up. Oh my. Well, we don't have to worry about the bottom side a whole lot. Nobody sees the bottom.
Just like nobody sees the bottom of the ocean.
James Cameron did. It's like cleaning a horse hoof. Except I'm using a hammer. That is awful. See how it cleans up with a wire wheel. Just using it as a bit of a degreaser. I'm gonna leave that all rust on because I want to see how this works. Let's hang that there for a second, degrease it. Shake this while that's drying. And while I'm shaking this, I'm gonna snap a picture of this side, and I'm gonna snap a picture of this side, and now I'm gonna pull these these rubber isolators out. I hate shaking paint. It's the worst. This thing's always fun. I was hoping it would stick. Hold on, grab that thing.
What's that gonna do?
I don't know, maybe it'll stop it from rolling all around. No. I don't think this is how it's supposed to work.
It shook it too well.
One of these days, we're gonna fasten this thing to a thing and then...
No, we should keep doing that.
So that should encapsulate some rust. Shake hand vigorously. Done. Do not strike. Done.
I would hope you used that one properly. Assume the only instructions for that one is like, don't set fire to it.
Pretty much. So here's what I want to do next. So this is good timing because I'm still waiting on brakes and I'm waiting on, what's the clutch. So this is a good time to do some of this stuff. Oh, boy. Guess it was tight. Here's what we're gonna do quick, Dan. I got one bolt here, 2 bolts here, and a screw over here. I'm gonna pull off this piece of the exhaust. It's gonna let me get in and clean this here just a little bit better. And then I'm gonna wisp a little black paint on that and it is gonna start transforming this bike. And this one, pull the washers off. There we go. Awesome. Awesome sauce. Let's set that aside for real quick. Now we can get in here, get this stuff cleaned off a little better. And I'm just taking off the big chunks here, guys. This is like, I don't know, kind of trying to fool around here. Like, what do you call it? A weekend rescue, weekend project. You know, you ride it down to the hardware store to pick up some wood screws. And old Leon and Samuel sitting in there see it parked outside and think it's a good looking bike. That's what we're going for. This side's pretty clean already. I'm not worried about all the way back up in there. We're gonna spray it, degrease it. Look out, Dan. Now we gotta shake more paint. Dan.
Craig.
Shake. How are you looking? This is just kind of a sticky coat. And then we can come back with a heavier coat for a second one here in a few minutes. Yeah, that's gonna make things look a lot better. I don't know if what I did there was good or bad. I don't know if I'm liking it. I think it would be great if you have like just a super rusty frame, like a truck frame or something. I don't know though. Did I screw that up there? I got an idea. We're gonna try soapy water. You know, if you don't experiment, you don't learn, right? Oh geez, what's that doing? Yeah, I would say that definitely did something. Yep, it stained the metal.
Oh, it stained it?
Just like they said it would in the instructions.
And then what do you do?
Yeah. Well, I wonder if that would do anything. Oh, that kind of makes it worse yet, doesn't it? Should I just stop? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe just stop for a little bit.
So we'll make our kickstand spring black too. Knock off some of that oily grease. Okay. Go through and just hit a couple of the little spots that could use a little touching up. Oh, I got a little overspray on the frame. That'll clean up. Looks better. Do you agree?
I would.
There we go. Okay. Out to the soapy water, Dan. The spark arrestor should probably be pulled out and cleaned. That's one of those things you can do, you know, once you're on the road riding this thing. All right. Now, I guess while this paint is shaking, let's hit this quick. I don't think there's any way I'm getting those things out, so I'm not even gonna try. Oh, we're gonna get the big pieces off, give it a paint. Now, if you're impatient, like me, this is a quick way to get moisture out of stuff. Depending what you're painting too, some guys will do this. It helps burn off all the oil that's stuck in the pores of the metal. That looks pretty dry, wouldn't you say?
Sure does.
All right, out of paint. This isn't generally always a good idea, mixing paint flavors, but my theory is the header paint is gonna help protect this is up to 500 degrees. I don't think this is gonna get 500 degrees, especially up in here where you see it. Let's see what happens here. Hopefully it doesn't wrinkle the paint or anything stupid. I don't have to get all the way down into here with this paint. I don't mind the flat black look down at the bottom of the pipe. Just kind of give it a little pizzazz where you see it. Down and dirty. I think our back end is about ready to go. Everything's looking up in here. Not bad. So it's really interesting. Maybe if I didn't mess with stuff so much. I didn't really mess with this up here after I put that encapsulator on. Maybe that's what I should have done, just left well enough alone. This looks better though. Would you agree? I'd agree.
I would. It looks black. Doesn't look other stuff.
Okay, so I guess I can throw a new rear tire on as well. Let's check on this stuff. Look at that. Look how nice that turned out with the evaporust. Like that was just basically a brick of rust. That wouldn't even need painted, but I screwed up that one, so. Now we're still waiting on parts. Just wrapping up, cleaning this stuff up here a little bit. That now moves. Got our gasket there. Let's throw this on. We're just gonna set the backing plate on there for now because we don't have brakes, but they'll be here shortly. That's good. I got my wheel spacers all cleaned up. That stuff's all ready to go. So that when the brake and chain come and the sprockets, throw all that stuff together. This is just talc powder from changing the tire. I always use talc when I'm replacing tube type tires, and I talc down the tube and then the inside of the tire because it helps lubricate it, and the tube will slip around and the tire will go on easier and less chances of a pinch flat or anything dumb like that. That is finger tight. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the back down, we're gonna pop the front off. Where did these go? I got pictures, I took pictures. This one goes here. This one goes here. This one goes here. Like that. Is that right? Yeah, so I'll just knock those in. It's looking good. Nice. Let's set this down. Let's clean off our drain bolt. We're gonna throw that back in so we can stop dripping oil all over the place. We're gonna pop this old crush washer off. It's stuck pretty good. Stick this back up underneath, give it a little tighten. Okay, so parts have been rolling in here the last couple days, and I just got a notification some more showed up on my doorstep. That is exciting. Let's see what we got. We got the clutch, brakes. I didn't even open this box yet. That just came last night. Let's make sure our clutches are the same, and we're gonna get those soaking in oil a while. Cool, so we'll just work that around every once in a while. Those will soak. Okay, steels. I did a little digging on the Partzilla, and I realized they're the same as a Banshee. So all I did was ordered a set of steel clutch plates for a Banshee, and they should work. Now, there is a slight difference. So the OEM, they taper in and then they have that notch. And what that was for, they would stagger these, and they were trying to take out vibration and get things balanced. It's not necessary. I don't even know how well it worked. They don't do it anymore, so that might tell you something. All right, there's our battery. That's a 6-volt. There's our other set of brake shoes. I always have to order stuff from different places. So I ordered an OEM air filter from Partzilla, along with an oil pump gasket and a seal. And then this one's from Dennis Kirk. That's where I got my clutches from. Clutches, I got a clutch cable, fork seals, and sprockets. Nice. Dan?
Greg.
Let's get to work. First thing we're gonna do is lift up the rear end of this bike. We're gonna pull the rear wheel back off, throw the brakes in, throw the sprocket on. We're gonna pull that cover, pull the sprocket, put the chain on, call that a day. This thing was kind of a stinker to put on, wasn't it? If I remember correctly. Probably gotten new locking tabs. That would have been a thing. Let me make these look a little nicer real quick. Yoink. I gotta clean that up a little better. Must have got sidetracked when I was doing that. I'm gonna knock those locking tabs over once it's on the bike. It'll just make it easier. Gotta clean that up a bit. If I can get the wire wheel in there. And we need to look up those brakes quick to see which goes on the front, which goes on the rear. I can just do it from my phone. It's gonna be faster if I just do it from my computer, Dan. So these are gonna go just like that. A couple more hands never hurt, right? Just like that. Way easier than on the rear of a truck. I did get those off, by the way. It was kind of fun. I just hooked a chain to them, the rear drums of that old pickup truck, and then I hooked a front end loader to the chain and yanked them off. Now is when I'm gonna put a little grease on this stuff. It doesn't take much, just a little. Hope things slide in there. Okay. So everything's centered up there nicely now. Put a whiff of Slippy on there. So we'll get the chain on and then we'll come back through. We'll torque that and pin it. Let's knock these here off. We'll pull this cover. Always a good idea to break your fasteners loose by hand, I think. So I guess I should Lead by example. Last thing I want to do is break a bolt off in here. That would not be fun. Lead by example, right, Dan? Okay, so here's a little trick. Like I said earlier, I always start top left corner and I work my way around and I lay them out so they're just easier to go in. However, this one here has a bolt right here in the middle. So what I'll do, this one's between this one and this one, but I'll lay it upside down. And then that will remind me it's the one that's different. These are probably all the same size, but it never hurts. Like I said, it just makes assembly easier, quicker, especially if it's going right back together like this is. Oh, stay. Oh, shoot. That's kind of ugly.
No, it's not supposed to look like that?
I don't think so. Can't believe this bike ran. Oh, jeez. There's like stuff falling out. Watch this. Back up. Hold your breath. Yeah, it's dirty. I don't know if I feel like pulling a flywheel right now if there's no necessary reason to pull a flywheel. So we'll get things kind of hosed down here a little bit. I'm going to knock this loose. We're going to forget we saw that. We can try this another way. Somebody I saw in one of the reels or whatever we posted, they were like, it had it was that adjustable metric inch thing. You're like, no real mechanic has an adjustable wrench. I don't.
You just found out you're not real, correct?
Yeah, I don't feel like that's accurate. I'm also pretty sure this is not the way I want to be doing this.
You mean with an adjustable wrench?
That and holding the clutch the way I am. I'd much rather just hit it real quick with, yeah, because if that slips and breaks a fin or does something stupid, I'm going to be mad. So we're going to move on right now because I have a socket and I have my zip gun at home. So we're going to forget we started that. We're going to forget we noticed that whole ignition thing in there for now. And let's finish with these rear brakes. All right, good start for that. That's all going to get adjusted once our chain is on. Let's put that bolt through and that nut, 10 millimeter. Dan, it's always a 10 millimeter.
Until it's not.
Only when it's an 8 or a 12. Okay, so that's done. We'll come back to that when I have my zip gun and we can take that front sprocket off. I'm gonna start putting the bike together, not keep taking stuff apart. But now we're gonna take apart the front end because we're gonna do tube, tire, brakes, you know, all that yummy stuff. Did I ever get this off? I don't remember. It's been a hot minute. What do we got going on here? So I guess what I did is, I figured, well, it went on and it spun, we'll worry about it later. It's now later. Get in there. I thought we got it to spin. Didn't we roll this bike on here? Can you hold the bike for a second? I don't want to rip and tear too much and knock the bike off the stand. It's supposed to be a nice, relaxed video. How did I get the last one off, Dan? I forget. So I just kept working at it. Man, that is so tight. Yep, locked up tight. Oh, this is the old stuff. This is the stuff I found in the old pickup truck.
Oh,
This is the good stuff. I try to get that to soak in, put it back up in the bike, spin it. It's gotta be it. Now that was spinning nice, wasn't it? Tight spot. That feels like the loosest spot. Holy smokes. Tell you what, getting these brake drums off is just worth the price of admission for you guys. Whole video on getting stuck brake drums off. Oh, dude. It is awful in there. From what I can see, I can see a bit, and oh my word, is it bad. We might need more than this can has to offer. Patience and perseverance, my friends.
oh wow, there it is.
So what happens, there's a rust ring around the edge here, and the shoes get hung up on it. It's the same like what happened with that old truck. It just makes it so difficult to pop off. That's locked up tight, so that's gonna have to get cleaned up there quick. Gotta get this here cleaned up quick. Look at that, brake shoes are falling off. Brake drum needs to be cleaned out because that's ugly. Wheel needs to be washed, cleaned up a little bit. I got a new tire and I got a new tube. We're gonna throw this all back together. I'm gonna move around our clutch plates too. Nice, come out easy. That's gonna be a lot easier to clean off the bike. I'm gonna loosen up my fork clamps, headlight bracket. I'm gonna drop my fork tubes out quick. I'm gonna get this cleaned up really fast with a wire wheel. We're gonna hit it with the rust encapsulator so that stops rusting and it looks a little nicer, and then we're gonna move on. I'm gonna leave that one tight for a second. Come up here and do this one. Yeah, right. These vessels are impact screwdrivers, so when you hit them, they actually turn a little bit. And that didn't do it. So we'll go to the next best thing. Whee doggies. There we go. This is gonna be really quick down and dirty. Okay, let's get this stuff tucked up out of the way. And we'll do it haphazardly so that way when we're painting, it'll fall down. As good as I can get it with this beast. See if I can knock some more of the big bits off with this thing. I mean, it says you can go right over the rust, but I figure it's probably a good idea to at least get some of it off. Yeah, encapsulate that rust. Okay, gonna let that dry, and then the forks go back on. I'm gonna clean up these top tubes a little bit. Let's start with some single lot. That will work. Yeah, a little cleaner. I want to run a tap through these holes quick. Actually, they're not awful. And I just clean up the bolts, clean up these threads. Just a little on the threads. Then this was that. Now, this can come up through here. Come back through here in a minute, torque that up. Right to the top. Okay, that'll hold that for now. This is our brake cable and then the tack cable. Okay, so those will all make sense once the wheel's back on. Need to get that cleaned up. I need to get a new tube and tire put on, brakes, and then I think the front end's done. Do you guys want to watch me change a tube and tire? What if we did one of these things and it was like, wham! And we come back and I'm just holding the tire. Whoa! Wood? How did wood get in there? All right, so some emery cloth, some soap and water. I gotta get that cleaned up. And then I'm gonna hit the wheel with a little of this light prep pad and get that nice and shiny like the back wheel. And it's gonna have new rubber. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, that's ready to go back on. First, we got to do our tube and tire. Rim lock loose. Here's a good question for the comments section. If you run tubes, when you put your tire back together, do you take this lock nut, this valve stem nut, and run it against your rim? Or do you run it against your valve stem cap? Comment down below. I run mine against my valve stem cap. And the idea behind that is if the tire moves around a little bit, gives the tube a little room to wiggle before you pull the valve stem. There we go. There we go. You just gotta put your whole body into it, that's all. Where are my tire spoons? My 5-gallon bucket handy, Dan? Let me grab this trash can. I'm gonna start at the bottom. One there. One there. Okay, the reason I'm going to use 3 is, So much easier when I got my machine, or at least a stand. All right, so the reason I use 3 is because then you can take your middle one, there, and now your middle one's loose. So you can just take that and work your way around. Just like that. Goes in the recycling. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this as well. This is how I'm going to do it at the moment. That's also, oh, coming in hot, Dan. Okay, so I have a new rim strip. If you don't have a new rim strip, you can always use duct tape, Gorilla tape, camel tape, donkey tape, don't matter. I'm just gonna hit these here with a little penetrating oil. That way, when I need to adjust these spokes, at least I got a fighting shot. And that can just start working its way in there while I'm cleaning this rim up. So I want to go around this wheel. I'm going to clean up this bead edge here a bit. And then, like I said, I'm going to hit it probably with some of this. Let's see what this does. It'll just take a couple minutes, so I'll do that quick. I got to get these cobwebs washed off. Good to pull this maintenance, I guess, while we have everything apart. I'll never, ouch, ouch, ouch. I'll never come back through and scrub these things like this. Boy, it is, what do you think the humidity is out here, Dan? 112%. I didn't warn her. I figured a shop dog needs to get used to that. Okay. New rim strip. I gotta remember to drain the air compressor or else I'm gonna start filling our tires up with water. Oh, this smells good. I like to powder my tubes. It makes them less sticky. It lubes them up a little bit, a little easier to put on. Kind of moves them around the tire a little better. You know what we should do? One of these days, we should bring my tire machine over here.
Probably make things a lot easier.
I think I only brought one of these from home. I should have probably brought a couple more. These make doing this a little easier. They'll help hold that tire so you don't have to chase it. As long as we keep things down here in the drop center, these tires don't go hard. The tires, oh geez. The tires fighting you means you're not quite doing it right. Just get back down into that drop center. And the tire should have no problem going over that bead, okay? And you want to use spoons instead of iron so that you don't pinch a tube. You always want to keep checking your rim lock, pushing it in, making sure it moves. As long as it moves, it's good. It's in its home. It's happy. Okay, let me grab a little lube, just a little soapy water. Okay, and then we do our brakes. Yep. Put some on there. Make sure this is greased up. A little on here. Lovely. Ha! Love it when a plan comes together. Okay, so that just will need to be torqued then. Not a problem. Dan, I think we need to do a couple things. One thing is I need to get cleaned up here a little bit because this is starting to be a mess. This here's our little inspection cover. It just runs down in here. That's where you would check your brake thickness when you're doing an inspection. Front brake cable, though, does need some lubrication. Oh, boy. Yeah, we're going to need to. This cable's not moving at all. Smooth operator. Pressure buildup in there, that's good. It should be forcing the lube down through the cable. Definitely a lot better than it was. Let's take a look at this adjuster up at the cable or at the lever side. Does this work? Yeah, that works. Let's take it out though and clean it. It looks awful. That thing's nasty and corroded. Let's see if we can take this apart and clean it. Jeez, I want this to move freely, so when we're on the bike, we can adjust things. A lot easier to do it here on the bench. See those sparks? That was from my fingers. Digits of steel, that's right.
It's a new album.
All right, let's screw this back in there. Oh, you know what? That should get sprayed up too, because that thing's tight. Whoops, totally missed. We'll work that in a little bit. Might have to loosen that bolt of hair. Oh yeah, that's coming around. All right, so it's like that. I'm gonna say this came down through here, something along those lines. Goes together so much easier when everything is clean and moving, you know it. Okay, so here's what I decided to do. Have our battery set up and filled with acid. Here's a little tip for you guys. If you get the batteries that come and you have to fill them, I fill each level up and they're gonna drop. So you wanna let your battery sit for at least 30 minutes, maybe an hour before you throw it on the charger, put your caps on, that sort of thing. Because you just wanna make sure that everything is topped off and staying the level you want. Lets all the air bubbles work out of the system, the fluids soak into the plates. So that is that. We're gonna do chain and sprockets. All right, so I'm gonna attempt to spin that nut off with my zip gun without using the assistance of engine compression because I still have the clutch apart. Now, if that doesn't work, I'm gonna put the clutch on. It worked. There you go. It's not moving no way, no how. So a lot of times when you have metals stuck together like this, you can spray penetrating oil in, but if the bond is super, super tight, it doesn't get in. If you hit it with the torch and heat it up, what'll happen is that quick heat, the expansion and contraction, it will break that bond and allow the penetrant in. So I guess that's our next step. Let's see if we can do this without catching anything else on fire. Oh, easy. Okay. We should have ordered a seal. Well, at least now we can measure. I want to find a number on this seal. If I find a number on this seal, I can call the bearing seal shop, and just go pick one up. So that's what we're doing. We're scraping and cleaning. I'm not seeing any numbers. Are you guys? I love this stuff. Oh, yeah. Okay, there it is now. So this number here is a 35. This number is a 62. That number is a 6. We can confirm that by, so this is the collar that goes in there, 35. So that's that first number. The next thing we can do is come up here. See that? That's 62. That's our OD. And then the 6 here is the width of the seal or the depth of the seal. If you're matching up seals from the bearing and seal shop, here's a little trick. That last number, the thickness of the seals isn't always mission critical. It's the OD and the ID of the seal that is. So I could probably fit a 7 or an 8 in there. An 8 might be pushing it. A 5 would work. Again, a 4 might be pushing it. But you can use, generally, you can cheat that third number, the thickness number, by a millimeter or 2. So that's a way you can match up your seals at the bearing and seal shop. So when you're looking at if you're looking to, you only need one seal and you don't want to buy a whole kit, there you go. 14 tooth JT steel sprocket. These things only cost a couple bucks. Now, I would generally recommend replacing that lock washer right there. As you fold that over, it work hardens and it's gonna break off, but here we are. And we're gonna go just like that. That ain't going nowhere. And then we're gonna pick a spot to knock over. What do we do next? Chain. I looked up the specs. It calls for a 101 or 104 length chain. And that's what I ordered, so I shouldn't even have to cut this chain, which is kind of cool. You're supposed to stay on the sprocket chain. Thought we had a deal here. You don't make me look dumb on camera, and I will keep you clean and adjusted. Pop that master off. Okay, now remember, you always want your pin closing side direction of travel, and that reduces the risk of knocking your master clip off, your master link. And you want to stick something up on the top side of the sprocket, between the sprocket and the chain, and then you pull that tight. So that holds your axle assembly up against the axle stops and make sure your axle's tight and everything is up against the chain stop or the axle blocks or chain adjusters, you know, whatever you have. Now, something I do, I came through here and torqued all the front end stuff first thing this morning, and then I took my marker and I just put a little tick on everything that was torqued. And that way I know, so if I get a phone call or I walk away or do whatever, and I come back and it's like, oh shoot, did I torque the front end? Well, I know I did if I mark it after I torque it. That way the front don't fall off. These are torqued and Loctited, but now I'm gonna bend these little tabs over. Probably should have gotten new ones, but I didn't. So it is gonna be easier now that the wheel's on and things are solid and whatever. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Right meow. Nice. Moving right along. I did pull the flywheel and I have it soaking in, see how nasty it was? This is what it is now. It's way better. Had it soaking in the evaporust. So I'm actually gonna pull that out. I'm gonna hit that with the wire wheel a little bit, see what that does. And maybe we'll throw that back on. Well, that is so much more better. I also cleaned up this stuff here really well. Hit this with emery cloth, got all as clean as I could. Got everything in here clean. Soaked it all down with WD-40 because I figured that can't hurt things. I did have to do a little repair here to the snout of the crankshaft. These threads were messed up. So I had to come in with my stone on my little Dremel tool, and I just took off the first 2 or 3 threads here so that I could get the nut started again. So that's done. Now if we put the flywheel back on the right on there. If you notice here, I got this marked at 60 foot-pounds. I looked it up in the book. That's what that crank nut gets torqued to. So we're gonna throw the flywheel on. Gotta watch your fingers when you do this so you don't get pinched by the magnets. It'll suck it in. There we go. Awesome. Next, let's go to the other side. All right, what do we got here? Now these steels are press cut. So one side is a little sharper than the other side if you run your fingers here on the inside. Generally what I try to do is I'll do sharp side, dull side, sharp side, dull side. The clutch pull will be a little bit easier. I say that, I don't know if it matters. Anything's gonna be better than that brick of rust we pulled out of here. There we go. And then I got one extra steel because, like I said, these were off of a Banshee. Same plate, it doesn't matter, but I guess there's one more in a Banshee clutch pack. So I got an extra. On our clutch hub, there's an arrow, there's an arrow, and there's an arrow. On our pressure plate, same thing, 3 arrows. So I'm lining those up. I don't know if it's mission critical, but they're there, so that's what I'm doing. Let's adjust this clutch so we loosen this off. All my cable adjustment is slack, and there's actually a small little nub over here on the crankcase. We line that up with that little clutch lever, or with the. So here's what I was doing. When I adjust that screw over there, I don't know, it's really hard to see, but there's a point on the end of this, and this goes through to your clutch push rod and everything. And then there's a little tiny nub up here on the case. So I pushed that front like that and adjusted that screw until those lined up. Here's what I'm talking about. This is the clutch cable. This is that clutch arm. There's the little point on the clutch arm, and then that number 2 is the little marker on the crankcase. So you loosen this lock nut, and then you turn this screw in or out while holding pressure on that clutch arm, and that was changing where that stopped. So I was pushing front on the clutch arm, and I could adjust that screw until it lined up. Tighten that all down, and now all the free plays and adjustments get set through the cable. I am gonna adjust my cables, my clutch cable, and just make sure everything's working, because obviously it wasn't working before we pulled it apart. So before I cover things up, I'm just going to you know, make sure everything's working here properly. And that way, if I walk away, I remember what I did. What was I doing? We're gonna adjust this clutch. Look at this. It's a note from Greg. I don't miss those days. Luckily today we have Connect Team instead of 2x4s. Connect Team's an all-in-one app that is easy to set up and use. With Connect Team, you can reach every employee quickly. By sharing important information instantly, this real-time messaging really keeps your team in the loop, avoiding costly mistakes and misunderstandings. The time clock feature allows employees to clock in and out of shifts or jobs right from their mobile devices that create digital timesheets that easily let you spot inconsistencies, and seamlessly integrates with payroll software like Gusto, Xero, QuickBooks, and more. Keep all staff certifications, licenses, and registrations stored all in one place, up to date, accessible by anybody digitally. You can even upload, share, and track company policies, handbooks, and new employee onboarding materials. And I think we're just gonna hang on to this. Extra Sprocket. If you own or manage a business with 2 to 100 employees, download the Connect Team app and then click on the link in the description below. If you have a team of 10 or less, it's free. If you have a larger team, you'll get a 14-day free trial to see if Connect Team is right for you and your business. No credit card needed. Now that we paid the bills, let's get back to work on this bike. Well, speaking of Connect Team, I just got notified that my parts were delivered. So I ran down to the post office really quick. Remember, I was taking this here off so I could put the clutch cover on. These gaskets were supposed to come Monday. They actually came today. It's Friday. Thanks, Dennis Kirk. Now the plan's gonna be clean off these gasket surfaces, pull the brake lever, throw everything back together. Here we go. Here is where we're at. I had the tank soaking in Evaporust for most of the weekend. That's rinsed out and pretty clean, so that's ready to go back on. The new voltage regulator is on. I got the wiring done. I just have to hook up the battery yet. Next, I want to put on the exhaust. One, because it's going to look cool, and two, it gets it off my bench. First thing I'm going to do is pull the old exhaust gasket out. Well, I never took one out like that before, but okay. That's what they're supposed to look like. Cool, got that in. Now that's the exhaust. All right, so this is gonna tuck in through there. That's gonna end up there. This was laying on the workbench this morning when I walked in underneath the bike. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't laying there Friday when I left. It was laying here with a screw, and I'm so confused.
You don't sleepwalk in here at night?
I don't think so. Maybe I'll figure out where it goes. Maybe I won't. Yeah, that's looking good, huh? I like it. I got a used seat. Wow, we got tape and hot glue. That's one way to do it. 96. 96, see? Okay, I don't care about any of that on the top. All I care about is this on the bottom. I like it. We got one little crack. We got one little crack there. Nothing the old hot glue gun there can't handle. Okay. But that's what we needed right there. A good seat pan. They're not easy to come by. I'm not using the cover. There is one coming. Yeah, so there might be, hopefully, I don't honestly know if the cover's gonna come in time for this video. I'm hoping it will. I could run it down to the upholstery shop and tell them to just throw a black cover on it, but then I wouldn't have the Yamaha. And I ordered one off of eBay. I didn't realize it was coming from like Malaysia, Kazakhstan. I don't know, something. But that's good news. That's a whole lot better than what we got. All right, don't have the headlight, don't have the, I guess it's time. It's time. We got to address the plastic. Here's my plan. Get myself a razor blade. Jack, get myself a stool. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit down and I'm going to lightly start scraping. I gotta be careful. I don't want to be leaving scratch marks and gouges and things. I'm just lightly scraping. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get this chalky plastic off and get down to the better plastic. And this makes a mess. So I'm gonna spend the next hour of my life scraping this fender.
Okay, Craig, have fun.
All right, Dan.
All right, bye.
Sanding.
Well, that's dumb. Here, look at this. We just came in the mail.
What? No way! Nice! Love it.
How's it fit?
Dan, you know what this is?
Looks like an apron.
This is our new shop apron. Ooh, yeah, dog. It's got a spot for my flashlight and your flashlight.
It's perfect so that your shirt doesn't look like, you know.
I know, look. My wife, oh, she's gonna be so mad. Where was this like half an hour ago? Dude, I am pumped. Seriously, these are gonna be available on our website. We're gonna have some logoing down here, but you'll see that in the picture. This here is just the prototype. And I think we nailed it. This is a fire-resistant material. Everybody needs a shop apron. Thanks, Dan. You are welcome. I took this to 2000 grit. It's looking pretty good. And now I have a two-step system here. Hit it with the one, hit it with the two, and we'll see how it polishes out. Can't forget my apron. I'm really excited about these guys. It is nice to have a good shop apron handy. Okay, it's a little more runny than I remember. It was about, I don't know, 2 hours worth of work. You could keep going and keep polishing. Heat gun, I don't know, I might hit it with the heat gun, see if I can work that out a little bit. Sometimes it'll bring back some color as well. Or hit it with the torch, that might bring back a little color. See if I can do this without screwing it up. We're gonna attack this white spot. I'm gonna go for it, what the heck. Okay, quit while you're ahead, right? And it looks a lot better. Come with me and we'll go stick it on the bike. All right, let's put the pipe on, or the silencer, the Stinger. $1,100 cc's of oil. In my kit, my gasket kit came with a new O-ring here, so I'm gonna put that in as well. A little O-ring on the dipstick. Fill that. There we go. So what we're gonna do, I'm not gonna put the gas tank on just yet. I'm gonna hook up the IV bottle and I'm gonna run it off the IV bottle with mixed gas. But anyway, I figured out at some point that this line here, that is vent line for the fuel cap for the gas tank, is no longer clogged, but it was. Like I was saying, now that that's unclogged, all right, I found Dan. He's here. Did you see my fender?
I see you did the front fender, yeah.
Yeah, well, I wanted to show it before and an after. It had nothing to do
On
with,
one bike.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the fact I was just tired of sanding and polishing.
It's the before.
So this is the before. So that's rougher than an alligator's tongue. And now look at this. This is the after.
Wow.
It ain't perfect.
Which product is this bike advertising then?
Elbow grease. This video is brought to you by elbow grease. What are we doing? Going down. There it goes. What I'm gonna do is run this off the IV until I get that oil pump primed. And once that oil pump's primed, we're set to go. Fuel on, fuel on.
Fuel line.
Check. IV bottle. You're supposed to say IV bottle.
IV bottle.
Check. Our hose doesn't fit.
Hose doesn't fit.
Check. My peepers don't peep like they used to, Dan. The valve seems like it got smaller. None of my fuel line fits. I should learn to put gas in here before I lift it up in the air, you know? One of these days. That'll be more than enough. All right, keys. It's not that one. It's not that one. Well, it was one of these, wasn't it? It was pretty rusty though, wasn't it? There we go. On. Oh, I was smelling something hot. Let's get rid of this. Look. Wow. Look at the difference that makes. Come here, Dan.
Whoa.
Look at the difference that makes.
Whoa.
And then, you know, you start putting,
You can like get to things?
yeah, you start putting this stuff where it belongs. Pretty neat. So, like I said, we're gonna fire this up, prime that oil pump. How many kicks, Dan? I should take it off the table. It's easier to kick, but wow, I just got oil on my boots.
8 kicks.
That makes it slippy.
Did I say 8? I meant 18.
We should take it off the table, I guess. Okay. Now, where were we? We're at run. We're at on. See my oil pump moving? See this blue hose here, Dan? Look, you can see the oil coming up through. Okay, that's a good sign. Oil pump is bled, bike's running pretty good. I guess we didn't check to make sure it goes into gear, but fingers crossed. Did I ever make sure that this transmission actually works? Wasn't just some brick of rust in the, I mean, we knew the clutch was stuck and we fixed that, but did I ever try shifting it and actually spinning the wheel and doing stuff?
No.
Darn it. Well, Dan,
Greg,
I feel like we're ready for a voyage.
ready to shift it?
Yeah, I probably should have made sure that it did shifty things before we did other things. But you know, sometimes you just get wrapped up in the heat of the moment and, well, here we are. Everything else on, everything else is on. Now we go one kick. Please, 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 please. I'm a little happy about that. Brakes work. Second, third, fourth. There's fifth there somewhere. Speedometer's working. Tachometer's working. Wow, this is great. I'm gonna grab my helmet quick. It's gonna idle a little rough, so, all right.
You loving it, Craig?
I am Mick loving this thing. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my apron off, my man apron, my shop apron. Again, guys, I'm really, really stoked for this. This is our first bearded mechanic product. It's a fire resistant material, pockets. It's gonna have a little branding down here. It is awesome. Anyway, let me get my helmet and just act like that's
okay?
Act like that's okay.
The bearded mechanic apron for acting like things are okay.
That's right. It's an apron or it's a cape. I need my grommets to fix this stuff are at home, and I don't want to lose these or break them or any of that stuff. So those are coming off for now. I had to throw a little mix in the gas tank because I forgot to get mix at the gas station. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my helmet, I'm going to gear up, and I'm going to run down to the Wawa's, and we're going to wrap this thing out a little bit and get some fresh gas in. Go give this some of the best ethanol-free Wawa has to offer. Man, can't beat that. It's amazing. It needs a little It just needs to be cleaned out. There we go. Or get those brakes seated. May have to adjust them. What did I lose? It's running good. I mean, it's going the speed limit pretty easy. Get that gas diluted. Right now I'm running basically in, I don't know, 20 to 1. I don't know if my turn signals work, so I'm gonna use some old hand signals. Yeah, we're gonna wanna adjust them brakes. They're seating in. I think what it is, I know this sounds silly, a weird feeling in the back end a little bit. The wheel bearings felt fine. I think the silencer might be clogged, like the spark arrestor. I bet you that's what's going on. I mean, it's definitely cruising at speed limit, no problem. It's just not wrapping out the way it should. It's got to be a lot cleaner. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean that exhaust out, I think. Yeah.
I could smell you before I could hear you.
What does it smell like?
Burnt mouse pee.
I think the silencers, or the spark arrestor back here in the silencer is clogged, because it just won't come up into the revs like it should. That looks a little clogged. So I gotta pop that cap out and clean that off a little bit. Adjust my brakes. We may have a problem.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Is that leaking gas? We might have a pinhole somewhere. I just saw a drip of gas.
Yeah, I just saw it then too. I still see it. It's dripping.
Well, that's interesting. Why wasn't it dripping when there was, unless the evaporust ate through it, you know, because it was just a pinhole.
I'm gonna put the next thing in there.
The Caswell.
Caswell.
Heck yeah. Okay, I cleaned the silencer here. This popped out and it's all was coked up in shmoo and carbon and everything. So I got that nice and clean. The trick to that is I hit it with a torch and just let it burn off. Now that our screen is nice and open, this bike should run a whole lot better. It should come up into the RPMs now. Oh yeah, it starts easy. Let's go for a ride. Oh, yeah, it's definitely better. Not 100%, but way better. Might still have a little in the actual pipe. I think that might burn out. Yeah, it might take a little carb tuning yet. And it's idling nice. Way better. Way better. Oh, there it is. It's running good. Maybe a screwdriver tweak here or there on the carburetor. Wouldn't hurt. But we got fresh tires, chain and sprocket, air filter, gas, clean carb. Now we have a clean silencer, spark arrestor. I like it. It wasn't but a couple weeks ago this thing was sitting in the Hoarder's backyard. It made us work for it, but we got it out, running, rideable, and usable, and I am super excited to be riding it this fall back and forth to work. If you're running a small, medium, or large business and think Connect Team could help you, check them out. All the information is in the description below. Thanks for watching. Find yourselves an old bike. Speaking of which, Dan, I just saw an old Yamaha sitting down here at the end of the road. We should go check it out.
Where?
It's right down here at the end of the road. Find an old bike, start wrenching, have fun. See you guys.